involved with that? I mean, I do know it's only the people that are involved, but
in that
do we
property.
have to have a special voting machine? Can we do a paper ballot, a shoebox?
I
Is
think for the
anybody
number
gonna
of people,
show
it would
up?
be a shoebox, but,
But it is the state
Yeah.
of New York.
actually, I think,
We may have to have 42 election inspectors.
Right, we have to set it all up at the county.
I think what the attorney's waiting for is the two resolutions tonight to go further into the next step besides generally
What the
saying,
town is waiting for is, what are we getting into that we gotta get done in the next 90 days?
right, and I think he was
Because
waiting
he
for
hasn't
this
been overly
hurdle,
fast
to
on
move
his
forward.
paperwork.
because obviously resolutions can be belabored within 90 days of voting on a resolution before you have to have another public, what do I say,
Public
a
hearing.
joint meeting to do again, so the sooner those two resolutions that we had at our April meeting for joint meeting get approved, then he said basically, we'll get more information and more writing, what has to be done, but until it's done, that 90 days isn't kicked in yet. So if you vote tonight, then the 90 days go, if
But if he
you,
gives me paperwork at 89 days, it ain't gonna get done in 90 days.
no.
That's our concern is, I mean, how long did it take you to get the original resolutions from him? I mean, it hasn't been a speedy process. I just don't wanna get us in a pinch when we don't even know what we're getting into for a special election. I'd kinda like to have some more information on that before we pass a resolution.
And I also question this vote thing. I mean, I understand he's reading the law, but in your initial contact, those folks all signed on to be annexed into the village. Isn't that a vote? What is the purpose of having another vote if they've asked? There was only one property owner who didn't care one way or the other and didn't seem to have signed on to anything. So I don't understand, what's the purpose when they've kind of approached you, more or less.
Yes.
And they've all signed on and said, we
Right.
want this. So isn't that a vote? It seems rather strange.
Well, at the same time, because after
It's
this
to
whole
say, it's gonna be
process,
redundant.
because then obviously if you look at it, after this whole process of going through, then the village has to have has to adopt a local law after the voting is done, and, so.
Right. Well, I don't know.
And,
whether the
and I don't know, for all you know, Alec, it's just the way New York State is that, all right, they petition, now we have to have the joint meetings, and then you have to do this, and now it comes to a actual vote, regardless of them signing letters that they want to come in, which they all did.
Yeah.
To me, it's just the process of the way it's laid out.
I understand that, but doesn't mean I like it
No,
or agree
well,
with it or feel we should have to do it.
we don't like a lot what New York State does.
90% of it I don't.
I'm not totally familiar with the law, but I think there's a requirement as far as the entire town is concerned, probably the same for the village. But if there's a certain number, there's a percentage of the town residents who either approve or reject or disapprove of the matter. So it's not just the immediate owners who have already signed off, whose property is within the distance where the annexation is taking place. It's the whole town.
Not
And
according to the
No,
attorney.
this is just the residents involved in the annexation,
I don't
coming
think-
in.
I don't think that's right.
It
That's
might
what-
work
I
differently.
mean,
That's
I
what
may
this
not
attorney
understand it, but I understand if it's the town property, every town resident has the right to decide whether or not they will either want to acquire property or deed property out of the town.
Well, it's not being deeded out of the town, that's the thing. We're not losing anything. They're becoming part of the village and they're gonna pay more taxes to do that. So they're happy with that.
Yeah, but it's no longer town property.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Sure it is.
the
It's
village
still-
is the
They still
town.
pay town taxes. They still have to pay town taxes.
Well,
They
I'd
aren't
like to see,
getting,
I'd like to see this
Yeah.
resolution.
Well, I
because-
well, they're gonna have,
Well, then it's not an annexation.
Yeah, no, everybody in the village pays town taxes.
It's not an
Doesn't really change. It
annexation.
becomes village, the village line is moved out.
Because part of it, Rich, is, you know, years ago, they annexed out of the village, and now they're coming, requesting to come back in the village.
Exactly,
I don't know the history.
they did.
I don't know the history. But an annexation would mean you're giving up or you're acquiring something that you didn't own before the annexation takes place. So it doesn't mean, I don't think, that you have dual ownership of that
No, I'm
property.
not saying dual, there's no downside to us, really.
So the town is gonna continue to tax this property?
Absolutely,
Yes,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
All the villages, all the
The
village.
village
lines-
pays
I get my-
everything.
I get my
We're on the
town
same boat
taxes
when it
every
comes to
year.
the town.
When
That's
you
what the
join the
pay account-
corporation of the village, you end up getting a third tax.
Understood.
Right.
I'm familiar with
Right,
that.
so therefore, what's my third tax with the village? I pay the county, and I pay the school, I pay the town and county, and I pay the school, and my third tax is the village.
And now they're accepting the fact they're gonna have another tax. They're all happy for it.
Mhm.
We
Because
need
they
to
want
vote on
water and
that?
sewer. That's their big thing, they want
Yeah.
water and sewer.
Understood. I know that was the problem.
Village
all the
is not
time.
gonna run water and sewer unless they pay village taxes, basically.
Yeah,
But,
but we can, I don't know, I mean, as far as this voting, I would myself probably call the Association of Towns and talk this over with them and say, does this make any sense to you? And if they say, no, it makes no sense, but that's what the law is, you have to do it that way, okay, fine.
They'll
Well,
just
we've-
wait till you're
we've
gone
got to
and
do
they
another
on
joint
vacation.
public hearing
Really,
for
exactly.
the Clark property, right?
Right, for you, because, they didn't give me adequate notification when we did the prior joint meeting, so,
My feeling is if we're doing a public hearing, a joint public hearing for that, I would like to do the ones that the village is annexing to, just to make them all available for comment from the public. Seems we've got a whole.
well, we've already had the
meeting
public,
anyway.
but we've already had the public hearings for comments on what you have before you, it's just, we'll have the public hearing just on the Clark request.
I don't think this board was aware that we were annexing the village property up on Delaware Avenue at that.
Not at
meeting
that
we had.
particular time, not until late, but just prior to that, so. I mean, I think it's our feeling, you know, I don't really see a purpose to have to rush it. So I think I'm all for taking care of this out at the hotel and all that, and I think we could do that. But as far as the Clark property and the other property, I think we feel more comfortable having a public hearing on both of those from the town standpoint, before we make a decision.
Can I ask one more question
Sure.
about the 28 property? Let me just focus on that now.
Yeah.
It goes through, everybody's in agreement, and whatever you're calling annexation or whatever, whose zoning law applies to that property?
The village.
It would be the village zoning law.
So the
instead of
town-
Annexed in. Instead of the town zoning, they would be under village zoning regs then. But I don't know.
Village zoning, village
I don't know
police,
what
right
the
now
rest of
they're
the
out of
board's
our
feeling is,
jurisdiction.
but I'm thinking if we're gonna do a joint
Hot pursuit.
meeting on,
No, because on
May
the
8th,
police aren't overly happy, because
Maybe
we're gonna go to the
schedule
zoning hotel,
for like
involves village police now, instead of
7:15.
sheriff and
Yeah.
state police.
and then, in the meantime, we
Hot
can do
pursuit.
some research on,
We'll find out about
The
this
special
voting if we
election
actually
stuff.
have to
Soon
do
the police
some
go.
kind of vote.
yeah,
Same thing.
and
So
then
we're gonna
maybe,
hold off.
That
on
doesn't
the
join any of the
resolution.
college
yeah,
property.
I think hold off.
The
and
28
if
property.
we get everything answered, we can do everything at the May 8th meeting.
Yeah.
I think what we'll do, Rich, we'll just set up a public meeting at 7:15, 15 minutes before the regular meeting.
Okay,
That way you guys can get out of here and then we'll get answers from the lawyers on all the rest of the stuff, so hopefully we can take care of everything then. I've just got some questions at this point.
okay. Yeah,
All right.
like I say,
You
the only,
can round up
the-
the quorum of your,
right, the only thing that, this isn't gonna hold up, because I think, the water line project to extend, you know, everything starts in May. So I don't wanna touch the annexed areas until we're sure, as I'm not gonna give them water, even though we got the grant to give them water. Unless we own it.
Yeah, and I mean, personally, I don't really see, we're just trying to follow
No.
protocol to give our constituents an opportunity to speak.
No,
I don't think there's an issue as to what
no,
will happen.
I understand that, but, you know, if we go to May, June, July, you know, August, you know, it's just running at the end, because I think the water project has to be done by the end of September. And if the vote still has to be within 90 days, hopefully it'll just be sooner
But once we
than.
pass the resolution, we have up to
Yes,
90 days.
That's what I said, just
Well, we
hopefully
would-
sooner
We
than
don't
later.
have to
Yeah, we
wait
would
that
do it
long.
right away. I mean, we're not gonna mess around. If we can find out what that's really all about, but that's something we could do
If we can do it in a
Like
matter
that.
of 2 or 3 weeks, then, you know,
as
that's
long as
fine
we
too. We're not
put it
gonna
out
drag
there
it out.
in the proper amount of time to notify everybody that there's a meet, you know, if there's a vote. And from what the attorney says, we'll have to clarify that, but what your attorney's saying is it only involves those people within those borders. So that's a handful of people who've already said, yeah, I wanna be there, and the other property, there's no one living there. So, vacant land. So we'd have to clarify how that's handled.
Now, we're talking annexation, not condemnation, right?
Yes,
Yes.
everything's through request.
The attorney's wrong,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
That's why we wanna
But all attorneys have
Touch-
opinions.
touch the bases.
I'm in the insurance business, believe me, I know that.
Talk to 9 attorneys, you'll get 10 different answers. All right, so do you wanna advertise and the village advertise for a joint public hearing on May 8th,
At
7:15?
Okay. Now, is this on the annexation of the,
That's for
Clark
the
and the village
annexation of, was it 3 parcels?
yeah,
The Clark and 2 village
Clark and
parcels.
two village parcels?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can I ask what the Clark property is?
The old gravel bank.
The old gravel bank.
Oh, okay.
Part of the
Yeah,
gravel
right now, the
bank-
village owns a split piece.
Yeah, there's, part of it's in the village and part's in the town. Basically, the steep bank of the gravel pit is in the town.
Mm-hmm.
The flat spot is in the village limits already. They just wanna put it all in the.
Yeah, and, you know, if and when, say, BF Clark Properties subdivides that piece, there's conceivably 2 lots that would be split between village and town, so therefore, going through this process, the Clark says yes, then bring the whole gravel bank in, so, you know, if and when that happens, and they do develop down there, because they've indicated development down there once there was water. And like I say, the water project begins early May. You know, who knows how quick or what the Clark family would do for developing a housing project down there.
Okay,
All right. Make sure you at least round up 2 more of your board members.
At least 2 more, or at least make sure 2 are there. I'm supposed to be up in Saratoga at NICOM.
You're never here.
we'll get Chris down here then, Phil.
I have to shoot down from,
Get deputy
if I
mayor.
don't have the cover, I have to shoot down from Saratoga.
All right. We'll talk to some more attorneys on that one and come up with a plan.
You want my attorney village attorney to get a hold of you directly, or just CC both you and David?
CC me and David both. Yeah, he can send it to David. I'm gonna be in meetings all day tomorrow, so there's no way he can get a hold of me tomorrow. but,
Okay, and Elsa, you have David's email?
yes.
If you send that to me, then I'll send my attorney both email addresses so that he can write them back.
Mine's like steel sieves here.
All the things he said, after all the things he said to you,
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just going like this now, you got it.
Yeah, sure.
Doesn't mean
Yeah,
anything.
I got it, yeah.
Oh, you
Didn't
got
say
it?
when.
Yeah.
You dug your own hole.
Any other old business?
Not that I can think of.
Moving on to new business. If I can find a piece of paper. Oh, I met with Melanie Putman of NYSEG the other day. And somewhere in this mess, and I've already lost it. Too many papers. There it is. Building a smarter, stronger energy grid. Basically, the federal energy people have decided we need to have backup electrical plans. So NYSEG has to run some additional transmission lines. The project in Delhi will be running a new secondary line from the Fraser substation to the substation on Sherwood's, following their existing route. And the only good news is it will be owned by NYSEG and it is taxable, so,
For now.
for now. Then
Till
again,
we
I'm not
figure it
sure
out.
what the boys taxed the NYSEG building up on Hamden Hill for either, but that should be on our tax rolls this year too. And then after they pay a year's worth of taxes, they'll sell it to the power authority for $1 and we'll get
Yeah.
nothing. But anyhow, this is just in the early stages. They're contacting all the people that live along that right away. They may have to cut some branches and whatnot. So nothing has started yet. It was just kind of a heads up that this is gonna be coming, and they've got, I forget how many projects across the state NYSEG's got. It's, I don't know, 10 or 12. The feds thought they needed additional lines, just in case something bad happened. When I get more information, I'll pass it on to you. I think the annexation we've already handled with old business. I guess next thing up is the bid openings. You got the bids there.
Yeah. Okay, we're bidding for, item one was hauling fees for approximately 4,000 yards of number one wash crushed stone from Seward, sand and gravel. 4,000, number one, wash crushed stone from Clark Companies, to Delhi Highway Department stockpile Sherwood Road. Bid will be awarded to one bidder with the lowest combined bids for both bids. Hauling of material must be completed by October 12, 2018. So we have for item one, first bid is from Babcock. Item one from Seward Sand, $5.96 per yard. Item one from Clark, $3.34 per yard. That's from Babcock. Schultz. Ryder Pit for $6 a yard, and Romar Pit for $3 a yard.
And for those of you that don't know, Ryder Pit is Seward, Romar is Clark's.
Seward Sand and Gravel. center, which would be the, yeah, the sewer. $5.50 a yard, Romar, $4 a yard. Kilpatrick. Ryder Pit, $5.48 per yard, Romar Pit, $3.23 per yard. This is Ben Reynolds. $4,000 yards from Ryder Pit, $4.95 per yard. 4,000 yards from Romar Pit, $2.90 per yard. The total combined is $7.85 per yard. This one's up good. Cod trucking, hauling in 4,000 crushed stone from the Seward to Delhi, $5.74 per yard. Hauling 4,000 yards of crushed stone from Clark to Delhi, $3.64 per yard. Total combined of $9.38. This is Tweedy. Ryder Pit, $6 a yard. Romar Pit, $3 a yard. And Gerster. Ryder Pit, $4.25 per yard, and Romar Pit, $2.95 per yard. And the last one here is the Fever. Okay, hauling approximately 4,000 yards from Clark Company, Romar Pit, $4.50 per cubic yard. And then, from the Ryder Pit, I don't know if they're saying that both are the same price. I'm not giving them, read that, see if that messes up.
Where's the lawyer when you need one?
They can't read. They just write.
I'm only seeing from LaFever's, basically on here is just the one bid. Even though this wording up here makes it sound like it's the same thing, right? You may have to be clarification on that. It appears that it may be they're charging for $4.50 per cubic yard for both, for either place. That's what I'm getting, but they're not clear,
Okay.
so. Alright. Those are the bids on, item one. The next item is the diesel fuel mixed price per gallon. And of course, item two, diesel from, Rabideau. Let's see what we got here. Okay, number one, diesel fuel, $2.43, $2.4353 per gallon. Clear kerosene for the winter blend is 2.8153 per gallon. 60/40 diesel Carroll blend, 2.5873 per gallon. That's from Rabideau, that's the only bid we have on that. And then on the bid for number three, which is the, number two heating oil,
Thank you,
we were requesting fixed prices on those, by the way. Allison Oil, fixed price of $2.39 per gallon. And Rabideau, uses a really good envelope. Just doing that for effect, you know, it's really not that hard. Let's see. Their price for number two heating oil is 2.3619 per gallon. And those are all
And that's
bids.
fixed.
That's fixed price, yeah.
Okay.
And that would do it. So we'll turn those over to Darren for the hauling and everything, figure that, I mean, obviously we know, well, we do have to figure out the number three, but the third one on the heating oil, but we can give those to Darren, that's what we normally do, and have him review them all, and
Make sure everybody's got all their bid paperwork in there that's supposed to be there, so.
yeah. It appears, I only did see one, I don't know if we asked for certificates of insurance, but one did supply a certificate of insurance. It's the only one I saw, but looks like the other